Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking about signature abilities and more specifically which champions are really great at low signature ability levels. Because quite often we as players do get multiples of awakening gems and we don't really know what to do with them. Should we save them? Should we use them just because? And if you kind of like select which possible options you will awaken, you do realize quite quickly that you will not have enough signature stones to max out these champions for extremely long time, and that might affect your decisions kind of. So when it comes to signature abilities, there are basically four groups of champions. Group number one are the champions that do not rely on signature abilities whatsoever, and it is not important whether they are awakened or not. For instance, Angela's signature ability can be quite useless for 99% of the situations. Wasp's signature ability is pretty much useless offensively, so on and so forth. Therefore, these champions don't even need to be awakened to begin with, especially for your offensive purposes. Now, second group of champions is the group that we're going to be talking about a bit later on in the video more extensively, and that is the group that basically is good to go at signature 1, where signature ability is important. It does help the character a lot. It is a really kind of like good boost to character's abilities. However, the signature level is not. Typically these champions have more than one ability in their signatures, and the one that doesn't scale is the one you kind of want more so. And the third group of characters is basically the higher sig the better. Good example, well, majority of the characters fall into that group. For instance, that's Blade. The higher sig the better, the more he regens, the easier time you have. Captain Marvel movie, the higher sig, the longer you're indestructible. Carnage, the higher sig, the more power gain you get, so on and so forth. Vast majority of the champions are in this group, where obviously it's kind of like definitely beneficial to have these champions at as high signature as possible. And the last group of champions is the champions that absolutely do 100% rely on their signature ability being maxed out. Best example there would be, for instance, Captain America Infinity War, because if you bring him in relying on his abilities when it comes to combining skill characters, let's say to remove a debuff from you if you have kinetic charges, and let's say you bring it in on freezer burn path or fight, whatever, it is enough for that ability not to trigger once for you to kind of die. Therefore, it is extremely important that you can rely on it 100% of the time. And Namor is another great example. You need to be able to rely that it will trigger 100% of the time, that you will reflect that damage back to your opponent, because otherwise there is still a chance that you will take that damage and you will die from it if the damage is substantial enough. So that is the last group of champions that absolutely 100% need to be 100 maxed signature ability in order to be reliable. And so the group we're talking about today is the ones that you can get almost a full benefit out of at signature 1, or at the very least that you get most kind of like efficient benefit out of signature 1 or low signature level. And first champion is going to be a bit different than the rest of the list, but it's still extremely important to mention this one, just because sometimes champion signature abilities scale absolutely horribly. And a perfect example of that, and the owner of spot number 10, is going to be Hyperion. So when we look at his signature ability, he gains pretty much the maximum benefit at like signature 40, and anything about 40 is just wasteful in my opinion, because what his awakened ability does is it increases his buff duration by set percent. At signature 1 it's 65.35%, something like that. At signature 40 it's 72%. And then for the rest of the 166 stones, you're only gonna get 4% or 3%. So it's a horrible scaling. If you have Hyperion, get him to Sig 40. He's pretty much good to go. Not much will change from Sig 200 hype to Sig 40 hype. It is quite silly to invest any Sig stones past that point. And so this is like a great example of how some signature abilities scale quite poorly and horribly. Also, I wanted to mention before we move on that I am using Aunt May website, as you can see in the top left corner, I believe, on the screen, and it is extremely useful resource for every summoner, I believe. I will leave a link to this website in video description below so you guys can check it out for yourselves, but it is awesome. I love this website. I love to use it for many different things. But yeah, now we're moving on to spot number 9. And spot number 9, champions that are good to go at Signature 1. Once again, it might not be the purest kind of embodiment of this idea, but it still will kind of serve the point and purpose, and that's going to be Iceman. Now, Iceman's signature ability gives you two kind of like things. Number one, it lets you start with your Cold Snap debuff active, and signature level only changes the amount of Cold Snap damage your opponent is taking. Now, obviously, it is beneficial to how this damage higher, because it does scale fairly well. The higher the signature level, the more damage you do. But the most important thing you do get from this Cold Snap is the fact that the duration does not change. It's always 12 seconds. And why this signature ability primarily is useful offensively, not because you start a fight with ability to deal a lot of damage out of nowhere, because realistically in any kind of difficult fighting scenario, that damage is not going to make the difference. What makes a difference from his signature ability is the fact that opponent cannot evade for first 12 seconds of the fight. And what makes the difference there is the fact that you can attack opponent freely, gain power freely, and you are able to have much more smooth fight against any champions who have evade, because for first 12 seconds they don't evade. You're able to build your power quickly, you're able to drop another level 1, therefore carrying on this kind of like same idea of evade prevention. And yeah, that is the main point. Otherwise, without the signature ability, all these evade champions, you will struggle up until the point where you get to your first level 1. Also, if you do not have Cold Snap active by the time you shoot your first level 1, there's still a chance that they will evade it. So it is much more tricky to use Iceman against opponents who can evade or auto block, just evade, if you don't have this Cold Snap active. So even at Signature 1, you will get 12 seconds of Cold Snap on opponents, and that is kind of like the main idea what you want to have. Therefore, if you cannot spare any more Signature Stones, Iceman is a great target for a Mutant Awakening Gem, if you obviously like to use the character, but that is the main point, because the time does not change this for what this Cold Snap debuff is active, only the damage does, but you can still reap full benefits of evade prevention at Signature 1, so Iceman is a good target. And next champion we're going to be talking about is from Science class. One second, let me just deselect this one, and that will be, where is it? Luke Cage. Now, Luke Cage is a fantastic powerhouse of a champion, especially for kind of like younger, newer players. Why? Because of his, well, first of all, he's tanky, he's sturdy, he has decent damage, he's just a solid option for kind of like starting level players. And he's also a great champion on Awaken. However, his Awakened ability does give him a lot of kind of like buffer for mistakes, and it is definitely beneficial to have. Basically, whenever you get hit for the first time in the fight, you gain this indestructible buff, which reduces all damage for X amount of time, and then it goes on cooldown. Right, so the signature ability increases the duration of this indestructible, and it also reduces the cooldown, which is obviously a good thing. However, typically when you're actually going to be using this signature ability, you're either eating a level 3 or being caught off guard and eating a combo. Even at Sig 20 or whatever level he might be at, that indestructible will be long enough to kind of absorb the damage of a full combo, or if it's just a level 3, it will simply absorb that level 3 damage. Now, there are some minor benefits to having this indestructible longer, in case you're dealing with damage over time debuffs, but overall, even at Sig 20, this Awakened ability will have served its purpose perfectly fine, reducing the damage of a big level 3, or reducing the damage of a combo when you make a mistake. Now, duration of cooldown reduced obviously is a nice thing, but it's kind of like a nice to have. Just make sure you can make another mistake earlier, I suppose. But overall, you do get vast majority of benefit with really low signature Luke Cage. And yeah, so that is again the base idea behind the selection of these champions, where you get either all or most of the benefit at extremely low signature levels. Next champion is going to be Red Hulk. Now Red Hulk is again one of those champions that does have slight use and benefit from having higher signature ability, because it does have kind of like 3 different stats in there. First of all, the main thing, however, is the fact that even if your Red Hulk is signature 1, you will be immediately starting the fight with 2 heat charges, which is the thing you want, which is the thing that increases your damage, which is what lets you finish your fights earlier. Now, Red Hulk, again, is not necessarily a champion that overly relies on this ability. However, even at signature 1, he will be able to speed up his fights and deal more damage quicker. And that is the main thing that you want kind of from it. Obviously, with higher signature level, he gains more physical resistance and more incinerate damage resistance, which is awesome, can be useful. But for vast majority of the fights, vast majority of the situations, it's not really gonna matter all that much. What you want is more damage faster, and you get that at signature level 1. So Red Hulk is another kind of perfect option that does enjoy benefits of his signature ability quite a bit, but he gets pretty much all of it, what you want to use anyways, at extremely low signature level. And yeah, so that qualifies him for spot 7 on this list. And now for spot number 6, we're going to be taking a look at Mystic class. And spot number 6 goes to, where is she? Morningstar. Because Morningstar, again, is just like these first champions. There are some beneficial things that increase with higher signature level. Basically, her signature ability lets you copy opponents' buffs when it's power gain, regeneration, or fury. And the higher your signature level, the stronger can be the fury, the stronger can be the regen, the stronger can be the power gain, so on and so forth. But the main thing that you get from Morningstar's awakened ability is the fact that she starts the first fight with a captured soul already. Therefore, you save an entire fight of a ramp up where you have to get your level 3, and therefore after first fight you're able to walk out of that fight with 2 souls already. Now, obviously it's nice occasionally, obviously, when you do get to copy, because not all the opponents do trigger power gain, fury, or regen. But still, it's nice to have these stats higher and do more damage or get more power quicker, whatever not. But the main ability is the soul one, and that is what you get at signature level 1. It does not change to signature level 200. You don't get additional soul or nothing like that. Therefore, if you do have a spare Mystic Awakening gem, and if you do enjoy using Morningstar, she's a perfect target for it, because you don't really have to worry about investing any signature stones in her. You will get vast majority of benefits from her signature ability at signature 1 or 20 or whatever, because the soul effect is the important one. Fury is nice to have, but don't think it's worth investing 199 signature stones just to make that fury or regen a bit more powerful. The soul one is the one that you want to look at. And now we're going to go on to next champion. Next champion is going to be from Cosmic class. So this is champion number 5. And champion number 5 is going to be... where is she? I'm getting blind for today. Medusa. So Medusa is still following the same trend as the top champions are going to be even kind of more distinctive. But here, Medusa gains a fury buff every 3 seconds, up to 3 stacks, increasing attack by 437, blah blah blah. So we can see that we have 2 effects here. The number 1, you can see that there are no green numbers in whatsoever, so nothing is going to change with higher signature ability. Basically, even if Medusa signature 1, you will be able to unlock these fury buffs, and with that you will be able to increase your damage exponentially, and when you add the synergies you can get up to 6 fury buffs, so on and so forth. So that will not change whether your Medusa is Sig 1 or Sig 200. So the thing that does change is the chance to auto block. Obviously, when you place Medusa in defense, it is kind of beneficial and important that her auto block works as often as possible. Therefore, for defense purposes, yes, you do want to invest your signature stones in her. However, when it comes to you using Medusa offensively, you get vast majority of the benefit at signature 1. Yes, that auto block can be useful, protecting you from mistakes, so on and so forth, but the main thing is the huge damage increase. And if your Cosmic Signature Stones are scarce, and if you have multiples of Cosmic Awakening Gems, Medusa is a prime target, prime example why you could use your Awakening Gem on her, unlock all that extra damage, without any need to invest a single Signature Stone in her, because as you can see, neither the strength of the Fury or the speed she gets these debuffs or nothing like the debuffs changes. It's only the chance to auto block that changes with her signature ability. Therefore, yes, offensively, for vast majority of purposes, she will perform as effective at Sig 1 as she does at Sig 200, and therefore she is in 5th spot on this list. And next champion, we're gonna go down to skill class right now. Next champion is Gwenpool. Now, Gwenpool's signature ability basically has 2 effects as well. Gwenpool's read through comics to know what the main character doesn't die. Gwenpool's read enough comics to know that main character doesn't die, preventing her from losing more than 82.24% of her current health per hit from special attacks. Now, the second line is actually the important one. She also reduces her opponent's defensive ability accuracy based on her current combo count, but 2%. So at signature 1, she gains this new ability to reduce opponent's ability accuracy based on her combo count. Now, at higher signature levels, she will take less, kind of like maximum amount of damage from a special attack or whatever, which can be fairly useful, but we can see that even at Sig 200, it's like 50 something percent, and at Sig 20, it's like 75%. So the difference isn't that huge when it comes to her life. And typically when you want to use Gwenpool, you can still use her to tank opponents level 3s. It's just that you're going to be left with a slightly bit less health. But the main thing you get from Gwenpool, the fact that awakened at Sig 1, she is able to reduce opponent's ability accuracy based on her combo meter, and that ability is not affected by signature level whatsoever. So she has 2 abilities, and both of them don't really require you to have high signature level. Therefore, Gwenpool is a prime target for a champion that's great awakened without any need for you to invest any signature stones in her, because she really doesn't get much with those signature stones. It's not important to her gameplay. It doesn't change her pretty much in any way. Even at Sig 1, you will still be able to tank your opponent's level 3s, and even at Sig 1, you will still be able to reduce opponent's ability accuracy. And yeah, that's about it. There is absolutely no need to give any signature stones to Gwenpool, in my opinion, under any kind of like circumstances. Now, spot number 3, and these top 3 champs are all excellent meta champs, are all champions you see being used everywhere in contests. Not that the previous 7 champs were not, but they definitely aren't as dominantly present in the contest. And therefore, these top 3 champs are even more embodying the idea of being perfectly fine at signature level 1. And the number 3 spot will go to, there we go, where it is, Sentinel. Now, Sentinel's signature ability does 2 different things. The things that scales abilities that cause Sentinel to lose power are 0.4% less effective per analysis charge. And now you can increase that with max sig to 0.8. But the base idea that is quite useless signature ability. If that would be Sentinel's only signature ability, it would be useless. I'd say don't ever waste Awakening Gem or Signature Stone on it. The thing that you are interested, however, in Sentinel's signature, when the target activates special attack and it matches previously activated special attack, Sentinel gains 20 analysis charges. That is extremely important ability that lets you ramp up your Sentinel a lot quicker to access all that extra damage and all the extra benefits from having many analysis charges. And as we can see, this ability doesn't scale with your signature level whatsoever, meaning it's going to be as effective at Sig 1 as it is at Sig 200. And yeah, therefore, Sentinel, Sig 1, good to go. Ignore the signature stones, not needed whatsoever. Only makes the power resistance ability a bit stronger, but how often did that come in play anyways? And it's not even that kind of like major of a change, I think. So once again, Sentinel, Sig 1, good to go, no problem. And that is the reason why he's in spot number 3. Spot number 2 is going to go to Cosmic class champion, and that will be Corvus Glaive. Now Corvus Glaive does get 2 abilities once again with his signature unlocked. First one, as long as Glaive's immunity is active, Corvus Glaive cannot die. Instead of dying, 4 Glaive charges are removed. If Corvus performed a well-timing block against that attack, 2 Glaive charges are removed instead. Now that is Corvus's bread and butter. That is one of the things that makes the champion so amazing, and that does not scale with his signature level. The thing that does scale with signature level is if Corvus is able to spend all of Glaive charges in less than 30 seconds since they were first activated, the cooldown get reduced by whatever kind of percentage depending on your signature level. So here's the thing, vast majority of the fights you will end before expending your Glaive charges anyways, and even if you do have to wait for a refill, typically you do take more than 30 seconds because you do not fight as aggressive. So for 99.9% of the time, the signature level of Corvus Glaive does not matter. It's extremely rarely that you get any decent benefit from it. What does matter, however, is the fact that Corvus Glaive cannot die while he has any Glaive charges, which makes him perfect for a lot of cheese in AQ, which makes him perfect for taking any damage over time nodes if you're comfortable playing on low health, which makes him perfect for taking Starburst and stuff like that, because that is the Corvus's Glaive kind of like one of the most alluring qualities. The fact that you can play him pretty much at 0 health, deal a lot of damage, never having to invest a lot of potions in him, just because he can do so much on a low health, and he will never die from recoil or damage over time effects so long as you have at least 1 Glaive charge, and that gives Corvus like an entire different dimension of utility, and that is achieved with signature 1. That's it. So therefore Corvus Glaive is taking spot number 2 when it comes to champions who do, in my opinion, need to be awakened, but do not need high signature ability level whatsoever. Sig 1 and good to go. And the top spot probably will be guessed by many people already, and top spot goes to, where is he? Where's that handsome man? Nick Fury. So first of all, Nick Fury's awakened ability is extremely important. It's vital. When Nick Fury would be knocked out, his life model decoy is destroyed instead, and he returns to the fight with Permanence Fury's Fury buff and stun immunity. However, Nick loses his Infinity Formula and begins degenerating 5% of his max health per second for the rest of the quest while he's above 30% of the health, blah blah blah, and the rest of the effects. So the thing that scales with Nick Fury's signature ability is how quickly he degenerates, but here's the thing, you will still lose at all that health, and sooner or faster. It really does not matter whether it happens 5 seconds earlier or later. The idea is you do want it to happen anyways. There's no escaping it, there's nothing you can do about it, and the big benefit from Nick Fury's signature ability obviously is the fact that you do get your second life, you do get massively increased damage output, and that's stun immunity, ability to shrug off debuffs, all the good stuff kind of happening. And Nick Fury is a champion that 100% has to be awakened to be used fully, like to his utmost potential. However, his signature ability does not matter whatsoever. Nick Fury is one of those champions that, for instance, I have Sig 20 at rank 5. I do not plan on giving him a single signature stone just because it really does not matter how quickly you lose your health. The fact that matters is the fact that he gets that second line, the fact that he gets that huge damage increase, and that's it. And you get that at Sig 1. Investing any signature stones in him whatsoever, in my opinion, is a huge waste. But yeah, and that will conclude today's list. Now there are champions who also could have been mentioned, like Proxima Midnight and a bunch of others, but this was a long video already. I didn't want to make it any more longer. So if I did miss out on a champion you think would fit in this category, or if you think that some of the champions I mentioned should not be put on this list whatsoever, do leave a comment. Let me know where I went wrong, because after all, this is only my opinion. But other than that, that will do for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya!